Hello everyone, my name is Caden and welcome to more, if it'll appear on the screen, Chaos Child. Last time... you know what? No, let's just get into it. The more I think about last time,
the more the pain returns.
Let's just get into it.
We have no updates on the person of interest in the case, Miyashiro Takuru-kun. The police have said that the reason for issuing a warrant that reveals the miner's real name was of great importance for this case.
I woke up with a dull ache in my head and an unpleasant sound in my ears. I must have been sweating. My clothes were wet and sticky. Where am I? Oh, hey. Oh. I'd never seen the ceiling or smelled these smells before, but then I remembered. This was Freesia, Momose-san's company. I didn't feel like I'd slept at all. I put my hand on the cushions of the sofa I'd been laying on and slowly sat up. After what happened, in the last moments of the dream came flashing back to me, I looked at my hands. I could still feel the sensation of her motionless, but still warm and living body. My hands were shaking, but they were the color of human skin. Back then, they'd been stained dark red. Stained with no-nos. Why? Why? Are you okay? Oh. Arimura was sitting on the sofa across from me. She winced when she looked at me. Sorry. Of course you're not. I'll go make some coffee or something. She stood up. I didn't want any. I didn't feel like eating or drinking anything. But I couldn't even muster up the energy to refuse. That's how exhausted I was.
The Ministry of Law's Human Rights Protection Bureau, the lawyers associated, and all major human rights groups have given in statements essentially stating no disagreement with the decision to release this boy's name. Public opinion by and large agrees with them.
It's just like what happened 6 years ago. You mean with Nishijou Takumi? I was wondering when we were going to have his name said. Also, I actually got a comment mentioning something that's really cool. A while ago, Kunosato did mention the name Kurisu, and it turns out, yeah, it's the exact same Kurisu that they mentioned that existed in Steins Gate. It's the same one. I was wondering, like, if I was crazy, but no, it is the same Kurisu, which is really cool. It does make me wonder, like, did they exist, like, how would they react to everything going on currently in the Chaos Child and Noah games? But now we're also finally getting Takumi talked about. Yeah, they said he was the main suspect behind the New Generation madness, but he proved them wrong and became famous. Kunosawa-san and Momose-san were talking in front of the TV. So he's famous now. The people on TV are still saying that I was the one who was behind the murders. It didn't seem real. When they said my name, it felt like they were referring to some other Miyashiro Takuru who lives somewhere else in the world. But Momose-san looked over at me. Good morning. I tried to say something back, but the words just got stuck in my throat. It felt like if I said something, all the feelings bottled up inside me would come pouring out at once. Shinjo-chan got in touch with me. He said that the news is calling you a person of interest, but for some reason, police have decided you're the mastermind behind these cases. Including the death of Kurisu Nono. You managed to get me Kurisu Nono's top-secret autopsy report, and it all looks very bad for you. It's probably all faked. You haven't even gone through the right legal channels. Autopsy report. I couldn't process the phrase. I heard it, but it didn't make sense. The police still don't know. Oh, you're here at Freesia. They're searching around Hekio Academy and Alba Dorm. Their voices got further away. I could tell they were saying something to me, but I couldn't figure out what. That's strange. They should be trying to give me information about what's happening to me right now. Information? Why? Would it help? Help with what? What can it help me solve? No matter what I do, it's too late now. Ah! Kunosawa-san slammed her hand and down on the desk. I looked up surprised. Well, do you have any idea? Idea about what? I'm asking if you have any idea where Onoe Serika might have gone. While you spent yesterday asleep, Shinjo-chan and I went to the house, but nobody was there. Yesterday? So today is November 5th. We copied the data on her computer, but we didn't find any clues. We have no idea where she could have gone. And now that it's been decided you're the criminal, even Shinjo-chan can't use official resources to search for her. The police are acting strange. Someone set a trap, and we walked right into it. Why? Which means you're our only clue left. If you really were Onoe Serika's childhood friend, you must know something. I think Onoe might actually be Minamisawa Serika. I think she might be Minamisawa. That's the only thing that might make sense to why she would do all this. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. Serika's childhood friend. Yeah, that's right. Serika's my childhood friend. She's always been by my side ever since we were little. We did everything together. So why would Serika... Kunosawa grabbed me and pulled me close enough that I could feel her breath on my face. Stop screwing around. This is our chance. Are you just gonna let it go to waste? We finally know who the giggle maniac serial killer is. If we can find her, we might be able to find them. That's enough. A loud voice echoed off the walls of the room. I thought Arimura had gone to make coffee, but at some point she walked over to me and started to glare at Kunosato-san. First he lost his little sister, and now he's lost his big sister, Kurusu-senpai. And yet you're still... Arimura... Come to think of it, she was really worried about Kurusu too, and I promised that I would find her. So why? Why did this happen? She glanced at me for just an instant, and her lips were trembling. Can you try to be a little more sensitive, Kunosawa-san? You never change, do you? What's that supposed to mean? Whenever somebody's sibling is involved, you get testy. Arimura swallowed her words. It was like she'd been stabbed. Sibling? She clenched her fist tight, as if trying to stop herself from doing something she might regret. There are very few people I'm capable of being nice to, and unfortunately, you Gegalomaniacs aren't on that list. Kurosawa-san let go of me and spoke, her voice as cold as ever. You're a horrible person. There's no point in lying to you. All I wish to do is find the killer and use him to reveal who's really pulling the strings. But still... Arimura's phone suddenly started vibrating inside her pocket. She looked annoyed when she took it out, but her expression changed when she saw the screen. She tapped the screen and put the phone up to her ear. Hello, Uki. Is everything okay? Yeah. Yeah, I see. Oh, wait a minute. First, put Hana-chan on. Uki? Hana? Come to think of it, where are they right now? Did something terrible happen to them because of me? Arimura was speaking crisply and clearly into the phone while I was still struggling to even think. She reminded me a lot of Kurusu.
Hana,
Hi, you listening, right? We're still stuck here, so stay with Uki and Yuto-kun, okay? Yuto-kun's in bad shape, and so is Uki. Thanks. Okay, put Uki on for me. Then she handed me the phone. She says she wants to hear your voice. Say something. Okay. I took the phone and gently put it up to my ear. Hello?
Oh, Kakeru-san. It's Uki.
Her voice was even weaker than usual. I could hear a tiny noise behind her. I'm sorry, Uki. It's my fault.
No, I'm fine, but there's so many people from media and the police are here, and they searched your room, and, Nono-san's too. And the doctor went somewhere, hasn't come back. I don't know what to do.
Dad didn't come back yet. Were the police still questioning him? There's one big thing that we ended up learning last time, aside from just, obviously, who the killer was, being a Noe, like one of the big culprits. But the other thing is that Kurusu was lying the whole time. She was pretending that she had no idea about D-swords or anything, but she knew from the very start about them. She said that it'd been 6 years since she last pulled one out. That would match up with the Shibuya earthquake. She was a gigglomaniac since all that time ago. And yet she managed to perfectly act as if she never noticed anything regarding D-swords. Even when D-swords were pulled out, she somehow managed to act like she couldn't see it. So why? What exactly happened to her in the past? What kind of power did she have? She was never safe from the beginning because of how she was a gigglomaniac. I'm really sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I heard a tiny sniffle on the other end.
I know things are worse for you than for me, so I have to stay strong now, don't I? I'm Yuto-kun's big sis now.
Her voice was strong, but I could still hear the tears.
Miyashiro-senpai,
it's time to hang up. If any of the police in Awa don't hear her, they'll know where you are. Arimura took the phone from me. She talked with Uki a little while more and then hung up. I couldn't forget the sound of Uki's tears. That was when I finally realized that all I'd done was apologize. I hadn't said anything to make her feel better. My home, Alba Dorm, was being ripped apart by police officers looking for clues. I could imagine Uki and Yuto there, sobbing and not knowing what to do. No. I have to go. The next thing I knew, I was staggering forward. I got off the sofa and headed for the front door.
Miyashiro-senpai?
Kurusu was gone. So was Yui. So I had to be there. Or else Uki and Yuto. My hand touched the doorknob. And I slowly opened the door. Everything started to feel less and less real. And I watched my body move like a character in a movie.
Miyashiro-chan?
Miyashiro-chan! Where are you going? To Alba Dorm. If I don't go quick, Uki and Yuto.
Wait, you can't go outside!
Arimura grabbed my arm.
The news hasn't shown your picture yet, but photos of your face are all over the internet.
Let me go. Arimura screamed and her hand was knocked away.
Senpai.
It was only when I saw the look of shock in her face that I realized I'd used my power. I could see my D-sword. The symbol of my useless power, which hadn't even been able to protect the girl I loved. What good is this thing anyway? Damn it. Damn it. Damn it! My body started running on its own. I ran out of Frisia without knowing what would happen if I left. I hadn't run very far, but my muscles were starting to scream. I couldn't stop moving. Things in front of the train station were the same as ever. Nobody noticed me. There's a picture of my face out there, right? So why didn't anyone notice me? I didn't understand. Had it all really happened? Or did everyone here not know what had happened yesterday night? I have to get back. I have to get back to Albadorn. Police were at Albadorn, ripping apart the place I loved. They decided I was the killer, and they'd even searched Nono's room. Why? That night, I'd asked Shinjo-san to let me take Nono's body to the hospital. My memories cut out after that, and I can only remember a few things. I remembered being taken to Frisia, screaming and sobbing all the way there. And then... That's right, that's when I heard the news that I was wanted as a person of interest in the case. Damn it all! Mose-san gave me something to drink, as well as some medicine. It was probably a sleeping pill or something. To calm me down, to keep me quiet. I didn't want to sleep. Because Kurusu, the one I loved, was dead. And it was Onoe Sarika, my childhood friend, who killed her. How could I sleep? But I'd spent the whole day on a sofa asleep. I ran. I was too tired to even run straight, but my body was heavy like lead and wasn't doing what I told it, but I still kept on running. No one noticed me. Why are you all rocking around like everything's normal? Why are you all smiling and shopping? What the hell's wrong with you people? Warrant? What the hell? There's no reason I would ever have wanted to kill Nono. I staggered, tripped, and fell. I must have skinned my knee because it started to feel like it was burning. Once I fell over, I couldn't get back up. It was all I could do to roll over. And that's when I realized that was when I realized that I knew this place. This is... I looked around and shivered. This was the place. Jesus. This was the place where my best friend had cut up my little sister into tiny pieces. I felt a sudden strong urge to vomit. Was it because I'd been running for so long? Or was it because of my memories of this place? What the hell? Why did I come here of all places? I thought I'd been running the right way. But I was in such a hurry that I'd taken a wrong turn. If this was some kind of trick that God was playing on me, then what the hell was he bringing me here for? Was this his way of telling me that I could go back to that night and reset everything? That was impossible. With every passing hour, things got worse, and there was no changing the past. Damn it all. I punched the ground with my full strength, not caring about the pain. Again and again, my hands wouldn't stop. I wanted to destroy it. But did I want to destroy the ground or my hand? Or maybe I wanted to destroy myself in the way I was feeling. Damn it all! Oh, you alright? I suddenly heard a voice. I looked up and saw two boys about college age. Are you not feeling well? Suddenly the look on one of the boys' faces changed. He stepped back and dragged the other away. What? Shit, dude. What's the matter? That's Mishiro Takuru. Huh? I stood up in surprise. I had no idea who these people were, which meant that my photo really was on the internet. I felt a sharp pain in my stomach when I stood up. It took me a second to realize I'd been kicked. Hey, what the hell are you doing? He's that serial killer, right? Don't worry, no a wrinkly wimp like this is gonna beat me. Hang on, I'll call the cops! Don't bother. Something hard hit my face, my shoulders, and my stomach again and again. I wiped the blood coming out of my nose with my arms. I Couldn't even keep my eyes open.
Hey, what's wrong with her?
He started to get excited and yell as he kicked me. I opened my mouth to tell him that he was mistaken just as he kicked me in the stomach. So only drool and vomit came out pouring out. Stop it. Why is this happening to me? I heard the sound of shattering glass and the impact stopped.
Hey, you little shit. What do you think you're doing to my friend, huh?
Gensan?
You okay, Taku?
Gensan took me by a quiet, lonely route to his fortress, Miyashita Park. Of course, the police had come to the park in droves as well, but Gensan and the other homeless had told them nothing.
Of course not. My country doesn't abandon its comrades.
Thanks to them, the cops didn't even know which RV was mine yet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to come here. It felt like a long, long time since I'd come here. Even though it really hadn't been that long at all. The two boys who'd attacked me must have called the cops because I could hear sirens going by in the distance. This place probably won't be safe forever either.
Yeah, Taku.
Gensan took out another bottle of liquor and started to sip from it. Gensan fell silent. He looked at me like he was trying to work himself up to say something and then looked away and took another drink. I'd never seen him like this before. I wrapped my arms around my aching body and waited for him to speak. And after a long time...
I heard about the lady.
Oh. The pain worse than the one from my injury suddenly ran through my whole body. The news wasn't talking about anything else, so it wouldn't surprise me if Gensan knew about it.
I can tell you ain't the killer. I'm of noble blood after all. I still want to ask you, Taku, is she really dead?
This time, when that question reached my mind, I understood exactly what he was asking. Was Nono really dead? I sat in this familiar RV asking myself the question again and again. Gensan took sips from his bottle and waited for me. Yeah. I didn't know how long it took me to do it, but I slowly nodded. Nono is... gone. I looked down, feeling like I'd admitted to some horrible, unfixable mistake.
Why? She's one of the people who deserves to be happy in life.
I couldn't lift my head at all. For some reason, I didn't cry. The sun set, and another hour passed. I never did make it back to Alba Dorm. Gensan's friends had told me that the police were watching it, and it was impossible to even get close to the place. I tried to go anyway, but Gensan took a gulp of liquor and said this to stop me.
You know, Taku, if you get arrested now, you lose. Isn't that gonna make the little tyke who waiting on you cry?
Lose. That was when I suddenly remembered what I'd been thinking about the last time I was in the club room. It was like the killer was a player in a game challenging me. That player was, though I still couldn't believe it, my childhood friend. I kept losing to every move she made, and she'd stolen away some of the people I cared about. What if I had been able to win the game? This whole nightmare never would have happened then, right? Gensan, I'm sorry, but I need your help with something.
Sure thing, but it'll cost you some spare change. I'll put it on your tab so you can pay me once it's all done.
Gensan gulped down the last of the alcohol from his cup. I went with Gensan and a few of his friends to a certain condo and Dakanyama, deliberately choosing the routes with the least amount of people. We passed by a police officer several times, but because of Gensan and the others, no one suspected me.
Is this a place? Yeah, just help me get inside. I can do the rest myself. Sure, make it quick. This was Serika's house. It was the place I'd been heading to the night I lost Caruso. I'd come here a few times, though not often. Back when I first left Alba Dorm and went to live in Miyashita Park, I didn't know how to get food or do my laundry, and Serika had helped me out. I'd used her shower and sometimes even stayed the night. Of course, nothing lewd happened between us. I looked up and saw that the lights were off. There was no sign of any police or detectives. Okay, let's go. I took Gensan inside and left the others behind. I went to Serika's room and used my power to open all the locks. I'd taken Gensan with me because I couldn't real boot my power on its own. Gensan's eyes had gone wide when he'd seen the door open, but all he said was, guess I must be drinking too much. Thank you. You can go home now. Sure, take care. Gensan patted me on the back and left. After I watched him leave, I went inside. I tried to sense if someone else was in the room before I turned on the lights. There was no one there, including Serika. Once I was sure I was alone, I turned on the light switch. It was a normal room. If anything, it was a little more grown up than you'd expect from a teenage girl. The room wasn't especially messy. Shinjo-san and the others had supposedly come here once, but they hadn't ransacked the place in their search. Where did you go, Inoue? Momose-san had said that they'd found nothing here to indicate where Serika had gone. I came here because I wanted to know what Serika was really after. But what was I supposed to do now? And when I did find Serika, what would I do then? Ask questions? If I did, what kind of answers would satisfy me? What kind of answers would be good enough? Satisfied? Good enough? No. Nothing she could ever say would justify what she did. I turned on Serika's computer without even being sure what I should be looking for. I opened each file I could find and looked inside. So there's nothing here after all. None of the files were important, just like Momose-san had said. There was a folder marked Newspaper Club that was filled with information about the case, but it was all stuff I'd already seen at school. Wait, what about the drawers? I pulled open one of them. I flinched back when I saw what was inside. Sumo stickers. And not just one or two. There were tons, and all of them were the real 11th Rorschach. What are these doing here? In a moment where it felt as if I was suffering from cerebral anemia, my vision suddenly darkened. Barely managing to stay conscious, I looked away from the drawer. When the stickers disappeared from my sight, I forced myself to take control before any horrible delusions could overcome me. Sweat trickled down from my forehead. I quickly tried to shut the drawer, but then I heard a metallic sound inside. I rummaged through the drawer with my hand, being careful to avoid looking at the stickers. I touched something hard and flat. I pulled it out and quickly slammed the drawer shut. What is this? It's my... The phone. It's my phone. And it wasn't the new one I was using now. It was the one I dropped and lost at H. Tokyo General Hospital. Scared, I turned it on. And saw the picture I'd set as my wallpaper. It was a photo I'd taken with my family. Head to the wall, slowly! The door suddenly opened, and I heard the click of a cocking gun behind me. I almost turned around, but a low voice told me to stop. Don't try anything. Do what you're told.
Oh no, that was definitely a cop. Was I going to be arrested here? If I was, that would be the end of everything. I wouldn't be able to escape no matter what excuses I tried to make. Yuto. Uki. Dad. I'm sorry. I won't be coming home. Giggle maniac, if you just use your power, you can escape easily. That was what a tempting voice said from somewhere in the corner of my mind. But if I ran, that would make them think I really was the killer. If it ever went to trial, I would look very bad.
It's okay to just kill him, Taku. There aren't any witnesses here.
I heard a voice I recognized in my head. Was I hallucinating from exhaustion? Was she using telepathy? What are you doing? Huh? The man I thought was a police officer suddenly sounded surprised. Miyashiro-kun? Huh? It was only then I realized who it was. I twisted my upper body to look at who was behind me. Oh, Shinjo! Shinjo-san. It really is you, Miyashiro-kun. Shinjo-san. I almost collapsed from relief. Shinjo-san put his gun away and sighed as he walked over to me. It's always the same thing with you, isn't it? You worried me. He clenched his hand into a fist and bopped me on the head. Ow. You know what to do when I got called from Momose-san. Where have you... Huh? He stared at my face. How did you get hurt like that? Oh, this is... I explained what happened this afternoon. I see. Shinjo's side again. You know the situation you're in right? You shouldn't be going outside. So, what are you doing here? After a long enough pause that Shinjo-san started to get suspicious, I answered him honestly. I don't know. What? I was planning on looking for her. But then I realized I didn't know what I'd do when I found her. Why had Sarika done this? Was she really responsible for everything else that happened too? If she'd said yes, would I believe her? If she'd said yes, what would I do? What do you think I want to do, Shinjo-san? I'll give you this. Shinjo-san took something out of his suit pocket and handed it to me. Sorry, but I looked inside it. I didn't know what might be a clue. I found when I was searching out the door. Honestly, your family should be the ones that only ones to read it. The rest of the force hasn't seen it. I'm sorry. Shinjo-san bowed his head a little. On the front of the envelope was written, "To my beloved family." And on the back of the envelope was the name Nono. Nono. I opened the envelope and saw that there were several sheets of paper inside. They were covered with rows of neatly written handwritten words. To my beloved family. To my beloved family. I'm writing this in case something terrible happens. Thank you for everything. Everything in my room is yours to use. It would make me happy if you kept the furniture for the next person who becomes a part of our family. Dad, I'm sorry I won't be able to help you around the clinic anymore. All the paperwork I haven't finished is in the drawer in the exam room. The medical books I borrowed are on my shelf. You know, when I said I wanted to be a nurse, all I said was, I see. I thought you might have been opposed to it, but you actually knew what I wanted to do a long time ago, didn't you? Did you hear me talking with one of the patients? Or did you just know somehow? It started with what you said when I was helping Tucker with his physical therapy. You're doing a great job for someone who hasn't gone to school. I'm impressed. I'm sure that's just the way a father is. I love the rules you made for our family. Thank you. Please don't drink too much. Yuto and Uki, I'm sorry this is happening at a time like this. I can't make any excuses for what happened with Yui. I couldn't stop what happened. It's my responsibility. Yuto, I'm sorry for being such an obnoxious big sister. Looking back, maybe I was a little too strict. You're a boy, so you probably wanted to have more freedom. Uki, I don't think it matters how long you've been a part of someone's family. What matters is how you've seen them laugh or cry. How much you've seen of each other at your worst. How many feelings you've shared. You're Takeru's little sister. You're Yuto's big sister. Your dad's daughter. It'll be hard being the only girl, but I know you can do it. And lastly, to Takeru. I'm sorry for breaking my promise. I guess I'm a bad sister. I don't know what's going to happen. But no matter what happens, I know you'll be mad. But if something does happen to me, promise me you won't think about revenge. I know she's involved, and I know you'll want to know why. But don't try to find out. Don't do anything dangerous. If you can, forget about your power. Make more friends at school, find a girlfriend, and be the best boyfriend you can possibly be. Go on a fun date and talk about stuff that doesn't matter, like people you always make fun of. Go out with your friends and do those things that you always said were a waste of time. You looked like you were having so much fun at the culture festival when you were talking with Yui and Yuto at home. Every time you said you were different from everyone else, I always wondered why you had to be so stubborn. It's true that you have a power that no one else has. It's true that your family might be a little different. But that doesn't mean you have to get so stubborn about trapping yourself in a lonely shell. It always seemed to me like you were afraid of being just one face among the crowd. That you were scared to think that you'd be the kind of person who wouldn't stand out. But I don't think you are. Not to me. Even if you're doing the same things as everyone else. Because you're a part of my family, and I love you. Oh, but please don't dye your hair. It would look terrible. Anyway, back on topic. Finally, I want to write down the one thing I've always wanted you to know, but I couldn't do it. Please forgive me. When you find out someday, somewhere, you're going to despise me, and you're going to hate me. But please, never doubt my love for you. I love you. If you can believe that no matter what, those feelings are real. That's enough to make me happy. It's time for me to go. I'm sorry for being so selfish, Takeru. And I'll say it one more time, but don't think about revenge. Don't do anything dangerous. Forget everything and live the same life as everyone else does. But don't get buried among the crowd. I pray that you never read this letter. November 3rd, 2015. Nono. Huh? Tears start to pour from my eyes as soon as I finished. I tried to wipe them away, but they wouldn't stop. I fell to the floor holding Nono's letter in my hands. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop sobbing. As I cried aloud in my mind, I was apologizing to Nono over and over again. November 5th, 2015. Thursday. Same time. Frisia Credit Bureau. I see. Yes, understood. Miyashiro-chan was at the killer's house, he says. Mose moved the phone away from her ear and relayed Shinjo's message to Kunosato. Kunosato stopped typing at her computer and grabbed the phone away from her. Shinjo-san, put Miyashiro on. I want to ask him something. She must have not liked the answer she got back because she looked annoyed. Then bring him here as soon as you can. I've more or less finished my research of the data. I've just sent you a message with the results. Give him a swift kick in the ass and tell him he can cry later. Momose raised her eyebrow as Kunosato hang up.
ちょっと厳しいんじゃ
That's a
な
little
い
harsh, don't you think?
事実です。
It's the truth. That's not what I meant, Momose began.
近しい人が亡く
You
な
know
って
it's
しまっ
like
た
to
気持
lose
ちは
someone close to you.
みおちゃんも知ってるじゃない
Is that why you hate Gigglomaniac so much? You lost somebody? Kunosawa looked down as if searching her own feelings. But then she looked up as if nothing had happened and turned back to her computer.
私は
I only care
利己
about
主義ですか
myself.
ら。失恋した男女
The
同士
idea
が
of
く
a
っつ
boy
く
or
よう
girl
な
who
絆
both
の
lost the
恋愛
ones
は
they've loved consoling one another disgusts me. I don't give sympathy, and I don't want it either.
されるのもごめんね。
舐め合いかどうか
I
は
think
とも
that
かく
simply is part of being kind, you know.
私は同情って優しさだ
気持ちはわ
And
か
I
る。
think there's nothing in that pushes a person away so much as saying, I know how you
人
feel,
を
so
突
hang
き
in
放すも
there.
のはない。
何も言わなくてい
You
い
don't
の
have
に
to say anything. People can just tell.
きちんとそうするこ
Being
と
able
が
to
で
do
きる
that is
人
part
を
of being an
大
adult.
人っていうの
Kunosawa chuckled as she looked at the screen.
私は未成
I'm a
年です。
minor. And then Momose chuckled too.
それが問題なの
That's the
ね
problem, isn't it? She sighed. Arimura.
あら有村ちゃん
Arimura-chan,
寝
you
て
can
ていい
go
の
to
よ
sleep, you know. Yeah,
ろ
haven't
くに
gotten any
休んでない
rest,
でしょ
right? Kunosawa turned and saw that Arimura had gone off the sofa. She looked like she wanted to say something, but instead she just took a deep breath.
大丈夫
I'm
です。
fine. Anyway, what'd you
それ
find?
より何
When
か分か
Momose
った
told
ん
her
で
that
すか
they'd found Miyashiro, Arimura looked genuinely relieved.
そうですか。
I see. I'm glad.
よかった。
有村、
Arimura, have you heard anything about Onoe's past?
尾上の過去を聞いたことはある。
Kunosawa suddenly looked away from the monitor and spoke to her. Huh?
尾上の過去だ。
Onoe's past, such as when she was in elementary school, for example.
例
She was
え
caught
ば
off
小
guard
学
by the
生の
sudden
時の
question, but
話と
Arimura
か。
was able to answer quickly.
宮代先輩
I
の
just know
幼
that she
馴
was
染だっていう
Miyashiro
こ
sent
と
and by
だけ
childhood
ですね
friend, nothing else.
それ以外は何も。
She'd only gotten to know Serica about a month ago. And all they ever talked about was the case. She didn't know much at all about Serica's private life.
どんな些細なことでも
Did she ever lie about her past? Doesn't matter how
過去
small
に
it
関
was.
して
ないと思
I
いま
don't
す。
think so. Seri,
セリ
that girl didn't lie very
彼女は
much.
嘘が少ない人
That
で
was
し
the
たか
truth.
ら。
Arimura was capable of recognizing even common courtesies and jokes as lies. That's why she knew how filled with lies most people's conversations were. And that was the real reason why everything she said at school was a joke. But nothing made her more upset than when she was talking about something serious and the person she was speaking with responded with a lie. That's why she told jokes. Everyone around her joked back. It was a lot easier that way. It's a lot easier to not be taken. It's a lot easier to feel like nothing's serious. But out of all the people she knew, Ito and Serica from the newspaper club were some of the ones who lied the least. They just weren't any good at it. But to Arimura, that was a greater blessing than the others could imagine. That was why it had been such a shock. It might not have been as bad as for her as it was for Miyashiro, but she felt like she'd been betrayed by someone who was more than a friend. When Kunosada realized that she wasn't going to get anything useful out of Arimura, she turned back to her computer.
彼女のこと
Have you found anything out about her?
何か
わからない。
Nothing.
お
We're
手
getting
上げと
nowhere.
いうやつだ。
She sighed and flicked the monitor with her fingers.
ここは調査
This is
会
a
社。
detective agency, and we got Shinjo-san's network too. Finding people and doing background checks should be the easiest thing in the world.
だが、
But I can't find any information on her that dates back before our middle
中
school.
学以前
The
の
first
記
time
憶
we
が
see
出
any
てこない
information is November 2009.
あいつが第三者的な情報として最初に登場するのは
Arimura gasped. There it is. I feel like that's the smoking gun. Why is it that there's no information on her regarding before 2009?
渋谷地震が
That's the month of the Shibuya earthquake, isn't it?
ですよね。
正確には
More specifically, 2 weeks after the earthquake on November 21st, I found her records at a hospital affiliate with Tokyo General.
ところが
But there's no data from that before that. No birth certificate, no school records, not even a family register.
さらに言うと
And what's more, Kunosada's face took on an even sterner look as she pulled up a medical record. The specific medical record belonged to Miyashiro Takaru. I should have read that. But then again, it was in cursive and I was having trouble looking at it.
すいません。
Sorry.
ごちそうさまでした。
Thanks for the meal.
気にしないでいい。
Don't worry about it. Honestly, I'm
正
sick of
直
this flavor.
この味には飽きてるんだ。
After I finished eating the calorie block, Shinjo-san threw the wrapper in the trash. He said that whenever he was running around on the case, he would always keep 2 or 3 with him. I ate them a lot too, so I knew what he meant about being sick of them.
I ate the chocolate ones a lot too.
I ate the chocolate ones a lot too.
I see.
I didn't know how long I'd been crying for, but it was the first time I'd cried until my lungs and throat hurt. Shinjo-san had offered me a handkerchief and quietly waited a long time for me to finish. After I'd fallen silent, I couldn't find any new tears to wipe away with the handkerchief. My stomach suddenly rumbled. Until then, I hadn't even felt like drinking water, but after a full day of no food, my body had begun to demand it. Shinjo-san was fiddling with his cell phone. He seemed to be checking his messages. Then he turned to me questioningly.
Mishiro-kun, sorry, but I need to ask you something.
I could tell he was asking if that would be okay. I felt like the tears were about to start again, but I held them back. I looked down at Nono's letter. I'd been holding it so hard that it had gone crumpled in my hands. Don't think about revenge. Don't do anything dangerous. I know. I'm fine, Nono. Well, I'm not fine at all, but I'm not, but I'm fine. I touched the letter as gently as I could. And then I looked at Shinjo-san with tear-swollen eyes and nodded. Go ahead. What is it?
It's about Onoe Serika. Kunosawa-san, Momose-san, and I have looked into her. There's just too much we don't know. So please, just tell me what you remember. Give me your oldest memory of her, preferably of the time we first met.
I wasn't sure how to process the complicated feelings I felt when he asked me that question. It was painful and unreal to think that my childhood friend was a murderer. It made me furious that I lost my best friend and both my sisters at the same time. It made me sad to think of the letter that Nono had written to me, and to realize that I might never feel better again. It made me feel pathetic to realize how I didn't want to admit that Onoe Serika was the cause of it all. It all mixed together, and like a swamp that threatened to drown me down, it pulled me deeper inside the abyss of my memories. When I first met Onoe, it was before I'd started elementary school. I can't remember the exact date. She's my next door neighbor, and she'd come over and play with me a lot. Yeah, that's right. I was born in 1997, so if it was the same year I started elementary school, it would be around 2004. We played together almost every day. She was like a little sister to me. I do remember that at first I read her picture books that I'd only just learned to read myself. And her family was a lot like mine. Right, I'll tell you about mine, though. I was an only child, and both my parents worked. They both worked at an IT company back when there weren't very many of those. I think they met each other there. Work was all they cared about. It was only years later that I learned that normal people didn't eat all 3 meals with a babysitter. Around the time I started elementary school, I started going online using one of their old computers. It was common for me to be up at past midnight even then, but my parents didn't know that. I think they just didn't care. I can remember at least 2 birthdays where they just left me a present and a note saying that they were sorry they couldn't make it. The year after the last one, there wasn't even a present. And the year after that, there wasn't even a note. Part of the way through elementary school, I mostly just stopped going to class. My homeroom teacher called when I was in the 3rd grade. My mom happened to be home that day, so she picked up the phone. She looked annoyed when she talked to them. She said her husband was the one who took care of all that and hung up. She didn't tell me to go to school or even that I didn't have to go, and Dad didn't even know the teacher's name. At the time, I'd learned online that this is what they called low-level child neglect. Serika was the same. Actually, I think her situation was worse than mine. She was always used to tell me that I was lucky because I got a card. Oh, a credit card. I didn't have a babysitter at that point, so I had to get my own food. Once I learned how to use the card, I would split the food I bought with Serika. I don't think her parents hit her or anything, either. But there was one time she ran over to my place and was really scared. She said her parents had tried to force her to go to a hospital. Hospital? No, I don't know the details, but her parents supposedly said all kinds of awful things about how she was crazy and wasn't normal. So I think it was a psychologist or a psychiatrist or someone who worked at a hospital like that. She cried for a long time. This is why I let her stay in my room for a while. My parents never cleaned it, and they never looked inside of it either. Yeah, thinking back, we were probably together all the time when I was little. No, I've never met Serica's parents. She said that they were almost never home. I don't think I ever went to her home either. They didn't have a computer, so there was no reason for me to visit. Huh? I'm not sure. I don't think she went to school a lot. I never saw her playing with anyone except me, and we were busy finding information on the internet, so we were much smarter than... No, never mind. When we were in 4th grade, 2 years before the earthquake, we heard a rumor about Ami-chan, an urban legend. So the two of us snuck into the basement of the hospital to look for it. Yeah, H. Tokyo General Hospital. The reason why we did it was because we loved doing stuff like that. Both Serica and I. That's where we saw the experiment being performed on Misawa. We got scared and ran. At the time, I couldn't even imagine what was actually happening there. That was the first time we both went outside and snuck into somewhere else. Serica. I think she was scared. I remember thinking I needed to protect her. But I think that both of us were equally excited. We were able to learn something that no one else knew about. Serica told me I should go to school and tell everyone what I saw, so I did. But of course, everyone thought that I was lying. We started researching the sumo stickers and other urban legends. We even made a webpage about it to investigate it together. When we were in 6th grade, the New Generation Madness started. That was 2009. It was like I was having a fever dream or something. At first, we couldn't believe that something like that was happening in the city we lived in. We spent almost a whole day glued to the computer following the news. All those killings. When something big like that's going on, if you take your eyes off the internet for even a few hours, you'll get left behind. We stayed up all night in shifts following the case. Sometimes we'd use our cell phones to check the internet as we actually went out to the crime scenes and took pictures. More and more murders just kept happening. Eventually, people started to say that Nishijo Takumi was the killer, but he ended up proving them wrong. Serica and I both got very excited. He seems so cool. I thought that proving your innocence meant getting the right information and shoving it in the faces of the people whose information was bad. It seemed like the ultimate expression of what I was trying to do back then, and what I suppose I'm still trying to do now with the newspaper club. Serica said he was amazing. I agreed. They both admired Takumi, huh? When the earthquake happened, Serica and I were near the O-front building. Nishijo-san was causing a commotion there at the time, and we wanted to see. Suddenly there was this high-pitched noise and everything went white. That's right. That was when it all started. Yep, I remember. That was when it happened. At first, we didn't think it was an earthquake. We thought it was a bomb or something. The ground bounced up and down like a trampoline, and several of the telephone poles near us fell. I could hear screaming and the sound of breaking glass. Someone yelled earthquake, and that's how I knew it was an earthquake. Anyway, Serica and I ran away so we wouldn't get caught up in the people panicking. We didn't know where we were running, but we didn't want to be there. We got caught up in the crowds, and Serica and I were quickly separated. When that happened, I got scared, and all of a sudden I couldn't move. I got pushed over and fell, and then I crawled behind something. The shaking had stopped, but what had scared me more than the earthquake was the way everyone around me had changed in an instant. I spent a long time in that spot, unable to move. The idea of going home never occurred to me. There was no way I could rely on my parents for help, and at the time I thought there was no place in Shibuya I was still standing. I didn't know what to do. But suddenly I found Serica passed out near me. She must have been pushed down and hit her head. Or maybe she hadn't been able to able to handle what she was seeing because she had passed out. I decided I had to save her. The information online said that Yoyogi was relatively undamaged and that the hospital there was accepting patients. I carried her on my back and started walking there. And then... No. Never mind. Anyway, I just kept walking, and finally I reached AH Tokyo General Hospital, which had been turned into a temporary shelter. Serika looked like she was in pain the whole way there. She didn't wake up. I saw my parents there, and then I collapsed from a terrible headache. That's all I remember from the earthquake. When I woke up, I was in Alba Dorm, and a year had passed while I was in a coma. And that's where I met Nono and the others. Sorry. I'm fine. I heard what happened then from Nono and Serika. Serika woke up at the hospital and saw me unconscious. She stayed with me the whole time, and when AH Tokyo General Hospital overflowed with patients, I was moved to one of the other hospitals in their network, and she came with me. She wasn't in good shape either, and I guess she didn't want to go home. She refused to leave my side, and when the people from the hospital saw her, they put her into care. Counseling, I mean. She said her parents died in the earthquake. So did mine. Given their circumstances, the hospital didn't seem to mind her staying there with me. But once things started to calm down, they sent her home. She found some relatives who agreed to help her get a place, the one she has now. And then every day after that, she came to visit me in the hospital. No, I don't know. I think she said they were relatives who lived a long way away. No, I don't know their names. I'm sorry. Some time passed, and since there was nobody to take me in, I was moved to Alba Dorm. But she still stayed by my side the whole time. That's when she met Nono, I guess. They were good friends. When I woke up after more than a year, I had trouble moving. Nono helped with my physical therapy. Serika would come check in on me all the time, and Nono would happily tell her of my progress. Family was very, very important to Nono, and Serika was the one person outside the family that she called by her first name, not her last. The two of them would go out and visit all the different crepe shops in Shibuya, and since Serika didn't have any interest in makeup or clothes, Nono would take her shopping for them. They really were good friends. After my therapy ended and I could walk, I started going to school more and more. Yeah, that middle school. I was given special permission to be in second year along with the other kids my age. Serika did the same as a first-year student. After the earthquake, while I was in a coma, she started going to school. It was hard living on her own, but Nono would take care of her, and her relatives sent her plenty of money. She seemed to be doing better than she was at her old house. No, there was nothing strange, I think. I went to Hakio Academy because they offered free tuition for orphans of the earthquake. A year later, so did Serika. We both joined the newspaper club and did things there. It was exactly as you saw it, I think. She spent a lot of the time with us at school, but she had her own friends in her own class. She wasn't part of any of their groups, but it didn't seem like they were ignoring her or anything. I'd never seen her with anybody suspicious, and she wasn't the type of person to keep secrets. When I didn't have a charger, she'd just hand me her phone and let me use it. That's just the kind of girl she was. Yes. Serika was a normal high school kid. Just like the rest of us. November 5th, 2015, Thursday. At the same time, on the streets of Shibuya. Serica was running. She was out of breath and had a terrible headache. There was sweat all over her body, and it wasn't from exhaustion. Running a few minutes wasn't enough to tire her out. Compared to what she had to do to her mind and body to commit the murders, this was nothing at all. Damn. She touched a small cut on her stomach as she ran. She felt slick blood, a sensation she was long since tired of. She would probably have to stitch it up, but if her organs weren't ruptured, she'd be fine. She was used to getting stitches without anesthetic. She didn't even need a towel to bite down on to relieve the pain. The needle didn't even need to be a medical one. This terrible headache was new to her. Serica stopped when she saw there was no one around. You're slowing me down. She punched the wound on her stomach hard, two or three times. The sensation of a fierce external pain, a sensation she was used to, ran up her spine. She'd hoped that it would alleviate the pain of her headache. She hoped that her brain would decide the pain of her open wound was more important than the headache. But the headache didn't stop. It felt like a cold needle was being driven into her head with every heartbeat, as her mind screamed at her that something was terribly wrong. She knew why.
Just trying to interfere with his power did this to me.
Her head hurt, but her mind was still capable of clarity. Her foe was far stronger than she expected. Mind control. An unimaginably horrible form of hypnosis which could make anyone do whatever you wanted. When he was an ally, she thought it was the greatest power imaginable. Now that he was an enemy, it seemed like the worst. No. That's not right, she laughed to herself. He hadn't been an ally. He hadn't been a helper or co-conspirator either. If you could call him anything, he was a blackmailer. The phone in her hand started vibrating. It wasn't the one she'd used when she was pretending to be a normal person. She destroyed that a while ago so that the police couldn't track her. It was the one he'd given her for communicating with him. It probably belonged to someone they'd killed, or perhaps he'd used mind control to steal it from someone who never even knew what it was gone. She stared at the screen for a moment, but finally decided to answer it.
How's your stomach? Sorry, you just attacked me out of nowhere, and my body just moved on its own.
Liar, you were expecting it. I can read your mind. He must have found something funny because the man on the other end laughed.
That's just like you. That's the way kids should be, though. So, you can at least tell me why, right?
You know damn well why. Serica's voice was filled with rage. He knew, and yet he had asked anyway. He was either a sadist or some kind of sick hedonist. I can't stop the barking, I'm sorry. The methods he came up with for his murders always felt like one big joke.
Why'd you make Mishiro Tucker out to be the killer? The plan was to make it look like Misawa Senri was behind this.
Are you saying I was responsible?
Of course you were, asshole, Serica thought to herself. A warrant had been put out for Mishiro only a few hours after Kurusunono's death, and in a way that normally would have been that would never be possible. There was no way they'd give out a miner's real name in that short span of time, unless he had used his power.
What the hell are you thinking?
He's learned too much. I'm actually doing you a favor here.
What?
Your mind-reading powers helped me a lot. I was supposed to kill him, but instead I'm just going to have him arrested as the killer.
She hated the fact that she was on the phone. Without being able to see him, she couldn't read his mind. She wanted to know what he was really thinking.
It's just better for your plans if he's a criminal, not Misawa Senri, right? He'll be locked away where he can't tell anyone anything, and the press will think that he was the one who killed his sisters and talk about the story even more. That will attract even more attention to the sumo stickers. Do you seriously expect me to believe he'll get off with just an arrest? As of the first murder on September 7th, Mishiro Tucker was 18 years old. There were 7 victims. No miner has ever committed that many murders. The way public opinion is going, there's 99% chance he'll get the death penalty. Did you think I wouldn't know that?
We won't know until he goes to trial, will we?
And when that happens, you'll be controlling the whole thing! Serica yelled into her phone, and the man started laughing again. She didn't know if it was because she'd yelled or because his laughter pissed her off, but the headache got worse, which only made her more angry.
You really are great. Why not come back to me? Your power is of great value to me, and you're smart. You have guts too.
Shut the hell up. Safety was the one condition I had for helping you.
You're also stubborn.
I don't care about anything but that.
Mishiro Taku's survival. That was the one thing she cared about since she came into this world. Really? What is happening? Being a murderer, being an accomplice to murder, using her mind-reading powers to find psychics, she'd done it all for that reason. But now...
So let me ask you then, what will you do now? You're not going to take him and run, are you?
Serika managed to stop herself from speaking. He was right. She thought it was the only way.
That's impossible when you know it.
You won't know until we try. Your power's a threat. I mean, there's not much someone so low on the committee's totem pole can actually do, is there?
That's why I'd come to her for help, right? She thought that this was her only chance to save Miyashiro.
It's the fact that as of right now, you don't have him, and neither do the police. You don't know where he is, do you?
You've got me there. That's right. I'm all the way at the bottom of the org chart. I don't even know who the main members are.
And then he spoke in a voice that sounded a little too deliberate. She could sense his lips curling into a smile. Is this a member of the Committee of 100 or whatever?
I guess Freesia would be a good place to start.
She finally gave a small gasp. She thought that that's where he was hiding too. How did he know about Freesia? When she whispered that to herself, he said,
Listen, they told me all about Freesia. Don't you know how much he and Nono trusted me?
Die, asshole!
Serika hung up the phone and started to run, ignoring the pain in her head. Nono and him trusted me? I see. So that's it, Kunosawa-san said in a voice that was almost too soft to hear. And then she put her hand up to her head and started to think. I told Kunosawa-san the same thing I just told Shinjo-san. Shinjo-san had brought me back to Freesia and given me a stern warning not to leave again. Then he'd quickly gone back to his investigation, in theory looking for me.
Really? Stop being so stupid, Mishiro-senpai.
That's right. Arimura-chan was crying and screaming. They're going to arrest Senpai. It was a mess.
I was not crying.
Both Arimura and Momose-san were worried about me. I was grateful for that. The only ones who knew the truth were the other three people in this room. Shinjo-san, Kazuki, and Uki. We may have all had different goals, but if nothing else, they knew I wasn't the killer, and they were working to find the real killer. Serika. Only now did I realize how stupid it was for me to run away. Compared to this morning, the thick fog in my brain had lifted a little. No. I'm fine. Don't think about revenge. Don't do anything dangerous. Live the same life as everyone else, but don't get buried among the crowd. The words in the letter were like heavy weights, keeping me grounded.
Miyashiro.
Arimura.
Yes?
Kunosawa-san turned away from the computer screen and toward us. Her expression was even more stern than usual.
I
believe I said this before, but I'm absolutely certain that the white light seen during the Shibuya earthquake is in some way responsible for your powers. You know that there was a planetarium near the epicenter of the earthquake, right? That planetarium was also bought out by a certain company, and according to Shinjo-san's investigation, after that purchase, suspicious men were seen there many times. Not to mention, there were multiple witness reports of what sound like real phenomena. We also know that this company has deeply connected to H Tokyo General Hospital. So what exactly are you trying to say? This is just a hypothesis, but I believe that this planetarium was just like that basement facility. It was being used for some kind of gigalomaniac-related experiments, or at least something similar.
But then the earthquake destroyed the planetarium. Perhaps it was vice versa, and the earthquake was caused by one of its experiments going awry. There you go. Either way, they were experimenting to find some kind of causal factor that could create gigalomaniacs, which ended up spreading around the surrounding area. That's what I think that white light was. So it is kind of like what I said earlier, what I assumed earlier. The destruction of the machine that Narose was using kind of caused a spill of power in a way, and those who witnessed it were given the power of gigalomaniacs, but not quite the exact same kind of like, maybe not the exact same strength though of the original gigalomaniacs. In a way, the people that we see as gigalomaniacs in this game are not as powerful as the ones in Chaos Head Noah. Because in a way, these people are kind of like, how to explain it? Artificial gigalomaniacs in a way. They only became gigalomaniacs because they witnessed the that light, which was the outspill of power from Narose's experiment, which Takumi destroyed. However, that's not at all how the characters in Chaos Head Noah got their powers. They got them from specific events and stuff, or mental part, some of them were kind of innately born with the ability to kind of grow into that power in a way, or mental problems or whatever. Point is, they were a lot more natural than, say, how the powers were obtained in this game. I think that explains why the gigalomaniacs in this game seem weaker, because they're not technically, in the sense that they don't have like as many powers as like, say, like, remember how Takumi could do, like, how do I explain it? But it's like, the gigalomaniacs in this game have set powers, like Armura can tell lies, and Takuru has telekinesis. But technically speaking, Takumi and the other gigalomaniacs could do a lot more than that. A lot more. They didn't have like specific individual powers. They could all do the same thing, in a way. Some kind of material that drew the gigalomaniac powers out from your brains, I guess. It might not have been in matter. It could have been electromagnetic waves, energy, or something similar. Oh, like an allergen. Not even close. Don't use those words whose meanings you don't really understand. Makes you look like an idiot who needs to shut up. Damn. Armor frowned. Two of them still weren't getting along. We can safely assume everyone who was bathed in this white light was exposed to this casual factor, whatever it was. It was likely sent into the brains of many people, but not all of them awakened. My research has shown that this only occurred in the young, whose brains were still developing, particularly those experiencing something that put them under extreme mental load. Right. I nodded. I knew exactly what she was talking about. Kind of the wishes. The powers of a psychic depends on what that something was, or more accurately, how their minds reacted to it. We talked about that. The wish you made is what decides your powers, right? That's more or less the case. Yep. Back when I first woke up from my coma after the earthquake, I experienced a lot of stress because my body wouldn't move the way it wanted to. I wanted it to. I never wanted to go through that again. Not only that, but the psychological stress I endured from wondering whether or not I might be stuck like that forever was also incredibly terrifying. That's why I gained my power of psychokinesis. When I was telling that to Kunosato-san, my mind flashed back to how Nono helped me with my physical therapy. She'd done her best to cheer me up, at times kind and gentle, and at times strict. She was always there for me. But now she was... No, get a hold of yourself, Miyashiro Takuru. I forced myself to snap out of it. And then I realized that Kunosato-san was staring at me. Your power of psychokinesis. The cause was your difficult physical therapy. That's what I didn't correctly assume when I first investigated you. For some reason, she looked frustrated. Incorrectly? You don't think that was the wish? I jumped to conclusions, which means I still have a lot of learning to do. If not for that, I could have figured out the truth behind Onoe Serica much more quickly. Huh? What do you mean by that? Exactly what I just said. All the psychics developed their powers after being struck by that white light during the earthquake because of the casual factor. That's right. We saw the true... We kind of saw at the end of chapter 9, before chapter 10 began, we saw like what truly happened in the past. We saw Takaru meet with his mom and dad. But suddenly he didn't see Serica on his back anymore, and he was getting so angry that he just wished that his parents would go away forever. That it's... My guess is that the intensity of the earthquake put them under immense stress, which made them wish for something, which itself became the trigger for their powers. That's how it was for you, right, Arimura? Yes. Arimura had talked about that before. That her powers had awoken during the earthquake. And that the cause was because she wanted to know the truth. The same is true of Yamazawa Uki. Dr. Sakuma's report states that her powers developed right after the earthquake. The same goes for Haida Riko, the pyrokinetic. We finally managed to investigate her thoroughly. Kunosawa-san pointed to a corner of her screen. It was displaying the data about the pyrokinetic that had threatened us. Her face was badly burned during the earthquake, and just like the other psychic, she developed her powers immediately afterward. 12 years old at the time of the Shibuya earthquake, medical records found on a data server at H Tokyo General Hospital. The records show her face and body were badly burned during the earthquake. It is likely that the sense of despair and hatred she felt that and linked with the casual factor to give her pyrokinetic powers. Originally confused with Minamisawa Senri, a suspect in the return of the New Generation Madness, but she was found burnt to death in her own condo during the investigation. There were many strange aspects of her death, such as a piece of rebar being impaled through her body. So her power formed because of the trauma, because it combined with the trauma of how she was burned. Fire Earth. Rhine, victim list, shortcuts, victim list 1, first, summary of expenses, report 3. Microsoft Excel. In her case, she was overwhelmed by intense stress caused by her despair, and she subsequently wished to make other people feel the same pain as her. Those two things connected with the casual factor. I see. She was so angry that only she had to experience such pain, and she wished that she can make others feel the exact same pain. That'd explain why she could throw fire. That would be one way to make people feel the same pain. Now you understand, right? Of course I have investigated every psychic, but every single one that I know of awoke to their powers right after being struck by that white light. No one in my data said developed their power a year later. I started to understand what Kunosawa-san was trying to say. It's impossible for Takaru's powers to have developed a year after. It had to have happened during the earthquake. That's when I started to get a bad feeling. When I went back over the information, I found that there was always a major side effect whenever a psychic first manifests their power. Huh? What? An unbearable headache. Yep. I believe it's due to the expansion of the blood vessels. That's an extremely common reason for headaches, particularly migraines. Some of our data indicates that in the case of a gigglomaniac, the casual factor is a trigger that results in an excess of dopamine and similar neurotransmitters. This in turn results in the swelling. Then she paused. She was probably giving me time to think. So, Mishiro, do you feel any terrible headaches during your physical therapy? This is going to screw up Takaru even more, because you know what that means. You know exactly what that means. Who killed Takaru's parents? Look in a mirror! Tried to think, but I couldn't remember any pain in my head, just from the rest of my body, particularly my joints. No, I don't think so. In that case, there should have been a moment during the earthquake when you experienced a terrible headache, just like the other psychics. I could hear my heart beat loudly. My vision started to blur, and then my heart beat so loud that I could hear it. What were you doing back then? I had a very bad feeling. What was I doing back then? No, let me ask you a more precise question. During the earthquake, what did you wish for? Them to disappear forever. Did you want to maybe move away some rubble so that you could avoid some danger? Did that give you your psychokinesis? No. That wasn't what I wished for. What I wished for back then was... Annoy! Sariko, save me. Please. Please. Annoy. For a moment it felt like the headache I'd experienced during the earthquake had come back, and I grabbed my head in pain. Are you telling me that Annoy tried to get the idea out of my head, but it wouldn't disappear? No. That can't be right. What's wrong? Kunosawa-san stared at me. Her expression was as stern as ever. Soon after, she started typing on her computer. It now displayed a different set of data than before. For some reason, it felt like I was being driven further and further into a corner. This is Onoe's medical record. It's dated November 21st, 2009. It's found on a system at a hospital affiliated with H Tokyo General Hospital. I think I got it all wrong. I think I see now. In a way, pieces of what I assumed were right, but I never had them connected in the correct way. But I think I get it now. Inoue... Is Inoue Takaru's delusion? You said you were a patient there after the earthquake, right? Which means that this is where Inoue would have been giving her counseling. However, there's no records of Inoue prior to this date. Correct, Momose-san? We couldn't find your family register or anything else, Momose-san said. But her voice sounded unreal and far away. Inoue was a delusion herself, wasn't she? It's impossible. Inoue's always been by my side ever since we were little kids. You live next door to each other, correct? That's right. At the time, you lived in a 6th-floor condo at the end of a hall. Your neighbors were named Arai. They were an elderly couple who retired from the company they were in. They had no children. My heart was not beating even louder. It was getting on my nerves. It was a strange sensation. I could hear all of her words, but I couldn't understand what they meant. Even my breathing was getting faster. No. She lived next to me. Her parents were neglecting her the same way. Did you ever meet her parents? No, right? Oh my goodness, Inoue is Takaru's delusion. It says she didn't have any other friends. But before the earthquake, did you actually ever see her talk to anyone besides you? I didn't. But that was because she didn't have any friends. When we sometimes went outside, she was always with me, and she never left my side for an instant. She's not real. Kunosawa-san tapped at the keyboard and the screen changed. This is your medical record. It was also found at the same hospital. He's always talking to himself, acts out 2 roles. Someone else is there. One day he came up with the name Onoe, and now he uses it constantly. My parents are never at home, so I spend time with my friend, Onoe, who's always around. Family difficulties. The patient and the parents' view of... Oh, only... Difficult. Patient is stable, but portrays unnatural and antisocial tendencies, constantly talking to himself and showing dependency on the aforementioned friend. Reacts defensively, heavily reliant on imaginary friend. Determined circumstances of domestic life Remediation strategies next time confirmed by assessment. Prescribe after. I was all wrong. I had it all wrong, but I had pieces of it that were right. I just never connect them correctly. It is just like how I was right that somebody created another person, like what happened in Chaos said, no, we're talking he created an ideal version of himself. But I was wrong. It wasn't Misawa Senri. It was Takaru. He created Onoe. If only I found sooner, she whispered. At some point, it started crying. I couldn't see the screen through my blurry vision. It says the cause of your coma was unknown. They probably had no idea of the presence of the casual factor, but instead it has the record from the psychological department of another hospital. Another hospital? A psychology department. I never been to another hospital. It must have been some mistake. It's 2006, so when you were in the third grade. It states that you were heavily reliant on an imaginary friend. She's not real. Imaginary friend. A friend who only exists in your fantasies. And she was brought to life by the earthquake, by the powers, by delusions. My fantasies. That's not true, a voice in my head over and over. Imaginary friends themselves are very common. It's not a disease. Around 30% of infants have them. There are fans of the occult who say that when an infant talks to empty space, it's because they can see ghosts. I'm sure you've at least heard of those stories, right? You're lying. But very few people maintain their imaginary friends until puberty. It's distinct from dissociative identity disorder, but if you ask me, the symptoms are almost identical. The Onoe you described from before the earthquake was always jealous of you, right? She was also a neglected child. But she said that you were better off than her. Tried to get her to stop, but my throat hurt too much for me to speak. A taste of blood filled my mouth. I must have bit my lip. I started crying without even realizing it. She's not real. The vast majority of imaginary friends are friendly. That's because they fulfill that desire for esteem. No. Transference of negative facts onto an imaginary friend is actually something more commonly seen in identity disorders, but... I'm telling you, you're wrong! Kunosana-san's words were cold and uncompromising. It wasn't Onoe who was told that she was crazy or abnormal. It was you. And you transferred that onto her, Miyashiro Takaru. Onoe was never real before the earthquake. Don't lie to me! Miyashiro-senpai. I felt a soft hand on my shoulder and turned to look. It was Arimura. She looked at me like I was a young child in need of tender care. Stop it. Don't look at me like that. Kunosada-san is telling the truth. All the feelings inside me went cold when I heard those words. Arimura says she was telling the truth. She really was. But then that means I didn't want it to be true. Because if it was... then I'm the one who killed Nono. That means in the end, I'm the one who killed her. That's enough, Kunosawa. That's enough, Kurosawa Mito. Who? I suddenly heard a voice. What? I turned around and saw someone in front of the door. It was someone I knew very well. Why are you here? That's enough, Onoe? That's right. It was Onoe Sarika. She was different in every way from how she'd been at the newspaper club. There was an expression on her face that I couldn't read at all. You. Wait, I'm not here to fight. The hell you aren't. It's true, Arimura Hinai. Would you put that away? Before I knew it, Arimura had summoned her D-sword. She was glaring at Sarika and pointing it straight at her. If I wanted to hurt you, I wouldn't just walk through the door like this. Wait a sec. Why is Serica here? What is she doing? Is she saying she's not here to fight to make me let my guard down and then kill me? No, forget that. Why'd she kill Nono? All these thoughts slipped through my mind before I could really think about any of them. But then they all came together to form the biggest question of all. Did I actually create her?
That's right. It's exactly as you're thinking, Miyashiro Takaru.
Serica was looking me dead in the eye. Was she reading my mind? It felt like she could read everything I was thinking.
You created me during the earthquake.
What she said was the one thing I didn't want to admit. So I found myself looking toward Arimura, who had drawn her D-sword and readied it again. Arimura nodded slowly without taking her eyes off of Serica. I knew that was her way of saying Serica was telling the truth. But still my heart refused to admit it. It's a lie. It has to be. Because Serica is as important to me as Nona was. Suddenly a phone started to vibrate in someone's pocket. Serica's expression changed infinitesimally.
That's my smartphone. I'm putting my hand in my pocket so I won't take anything else out, so... Do you understand?
Serica looked at Arimura as she spoke. Arimura was instantly able to tell if she was telling the truth.
What she's saying is true.
Not on speaker.
You're such a suspicious woman.
Serica nodded and took out her phone. She went to put it on speaker mode, but before she did, she looked up. Her eyes met with mine.
Miyashiro Takaru, brace yourself one more time.
Why? Oh,
you're about to be hit with a shock that's as bad or worse than anything you faced before. I don't want to see your heart shatter.
What are you... What are you saying, Serica? Oh god. Before I could ask, she put her hand to the phone and answered the call. Did you make it to Frisia? I heard that voice before, but I couldn't tell whose it was. No, that wasn't right. I didn't want to admit whose voice it was. It was rare to hear his voice come from Serica's phone anyway. Whenever he needs something, he would always call me or No. It's you, isn't it?
How'd you know I was here? Never mind, that was a stupid question.
Yeah, I knew if I told you that, you'd go running straight there.
I'd never seen Serica spit like that before. And this time her face was red with anger.
So, how's it look? Was Takaru there?
When I heard the name Takaru, I shivered. I knew it. There was no way I could mistake that voice. Now I understood why Serica had told me to be ready for a shock. That voice was...
Hey, Takaru, you there? It's right. It's me.
It was the voice of my father. Sakuma Wataru. I couldn't speak. The ground beneath me seemed to shift, and I felt sick. The phone seemed to stick out clearly while everything else faded away.
That's your Sakuma.
So that's it, huh? They knew everything we were up to then.
Hey, Takaru, you listening? Hello?
Dad? Why?
Oh, so you are there. What? No, he hasn't told you yet.
Tell me what? Tell me what? And why is that calling Serica's phone?
No, I planned the whole thing.
I didn't understand what he meant, but I could hear my heart pounding loudly.
I planned the whole thing from the start. It was a lot of work, you know. No, I had to work as a team to get all this stuff ready.
We're not a team.
I flinched away from her. Serica was staring at the phone with a look on her face that I'd never seen before.
It's the truth, isn't it? We both worked hard to kill them all. Utami, the precog, Taki and Agi, the one who controlled emotions, the mind reader. What was his name again? The one who worked at Safeguards. Well, it doesn't matter. Watabe, Haida. Yui and Nono too. You and I accomplished all that together.
That was my dad's voice. There's no mistaking it. The names Yui and Nono echoed in my mind. Accomplish? Together? I feel like I was about to throw up. The taste of stomach acid rose in my mouth. I fell on my knees, unable to stand. Drool and vomit dribbled out of the corner of my mouth and onto the floor. Armor was saying something to me. I could hear the words, but I couldn't understand them. This had to be a dream. It had to be just a bad dream, because why would Dad do something like that?
Raise your head.
And Sarika had killed them. Killed Yui. Killed Nono. Killed 2 of our family.
Look at me.
Why? What is this? That doesn't make any sense at all. What the hell's going on?
Look at me, Miyashiro Takeru.
Our eyes met. Sarika was looking at me, her expression fierce.
Everything is going to be alright.
She looked straight into my eyes.
I'm here for you. Everything is going to be alright.
Alright. How will anything be alright after this?
That's quite the statement.
Sarika's eyes narrowed. She looked at Kunosato-san.
Don't worry, Kunosato-mio. I have no intention of trying to make you understand. Nor do I want to be on your people's side.
What? Kunosato and Narimura went pale. You. I see. So that's your power. Mind reading.
You're sharp. That's right. The same thing Kakita had.
Hey, Takeru, you listening? Come on, tell me you're there.
Dad? Why? What's going on?
I told you, Onoe and I did it all.
Why would you do that?
Sakuma Wataru works for the committee.
Of 100? Sarika said the word like she was disgusted by it. And when Kunosato-san heard it, her face filled with anger.
More precisely, a very small organization that works for them. He was one of the ones doing gigglomaniac research in that basement. They decided that all the psychics accidentally created by the Shibuya earthquake to be irregularities that could threaten their plans, so they hunted them down and killed them. I helped them in exchange for ensuring that you, Miyashiro Takeru, would not be one of their targets.
I felt like I couldn't breathe. The air was just leaking out of my mouth. Dad, was what?
No way, are you seriously planning to take Takeru and run?
You broke your end of the deal. I'll do as I please.
That's not what I mean. Do you really think that's even possible? Just a second. Yeah, seems okay. Just turn on the TV. Any channel is fine.
What?
Just do it. You've got a TV there, right?
Someone, probably Mose-san, turned on the TV. The voice of the TV announcer filled the room.
An update on bizarre murders in Shibuya. This case has attracted a lot of attention because of the police released the suspect's full name, despite him being a minor. Miyashiro Takeru, who is wanted as a person of interest in the case, has just sent a message to the media.
What? Sarika turned and looked at me. I don't understand. I didn't do that.
The message delivered in the form of an email says that he plans to take his life tomorrow, during the Shibuya Restoration Festival. Police say that the message contains information known only to them and the killer, and so they decide that it was sent by Miyashiro Takeru to himself.
I hear myself let out a short scream. What the hell was this? What the hell is going on?
Sakuma, you.
Well, you said you were going to take Taku in mind. Try to come up with something to get you to change your mind. Don't worry, I'm not going to have him actually kill himself. Everybody participating in the festival tomorrow, which is to say, everybody in the city will be searching for him so that they can watch him die. You can try hiding in Frisia, but all I have to do is leak a little bit of information on the internet, and that will be the end of it. There's no place for him to hide.
Scum.
So, what will you do, Onoe? If you're willing to give up on Takaru, then I would like to keep working with you. There's still hunting to be done, after all.
There was a short silence. Hearing the two of them talk about me didn't seem real. It was like watching the world from the other side of a pane of glass.
Fine. On one condition.
No, what's that?
Let me kill you.
Huh?
Where are you right now? Tell me so I can come kill you.
His voice suddenly cut off. There was a heavy silence as he tried to figure out what she meant.
In other words, the answer is no.
Miyashiro Takaru is the very reason I exist. I won't let anyone lay a finger on him.
Are you serious?
It's been 6 years since our human railed during the earthquake. I've been killing people for you ever since. Don't underestimate me.
I heard what sounded like an animal's laugh. It was my father's laugh, one I'd always heard at Abadorn.
Ah, it's so cute when they're stubborn. You just got your stomach ripped open and you think you can kill me. Fine, I'll play along. Come to where it all began, okay?
Where it all began.
You don't know what I mean. Where everything about this case. No, where everything about this case and the one that happened 6 years ago began.
Oh.
There, huh?
The planetarium. Where the device that Narose was using. That horrible device.
Yes, yeah. Let's see if we can't match the time too. It'll be more dramatic that way. It's a perfect place for you to die, isn't it? Of course, bring Takaru too.
You've been doing all this killing so that Takaru could survive. So that's why. So many pieces now make sense now. The horrible pieces of why you would kill the people that Takaru loved. Even if you cared about them too, they didn't matter as much as Takaru because he's the one who created you. She stained her hands with as much blood as possible in order to ensure Takaru's survival and safety. Jesus Christ. Everyone but me was looking at Serica on her phone. I was still kneeling on the floor, unable to move. What's that sound?
It is now midnight, November 6th. Our next top story.
Chapter 11. Takaru Miyashiro. His struggle. The more I play of this game, the more I can feel my sanity, deteriorate. Is that normal? I don't know. But it certainly feels like what's happening at this point. Also, it just now occurs to me, look at the bottom of the picture frame here. Is that supposed to be Onoe? It certainly doesn't look like a sumo sticker. Maybe I'm going crazy. Actually, no. I know for a fact I'm going crazy because of this game. This game is sending me on a downward spiral down to insanity. So I need to take a little bit of a break from it. For at least a day. Again, this is the kind of game where it's like, I cannot do multiple episodes a day because I will genuinely destroy my mental state. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you all later.
Peace.